morning, everyone. How nice to see you all. Thank you all for coming here this morning and honoring Elizabeth Green, Richey, Cobalt, Fox, Richey. She would be delighted to see you all. She loved you so much. And this is one heck of a woman that we honor and celebrate this morning. A career woman. Amen. Before that became popular. She worked. She drove. She served. Her love language was action. This was not a sentimental woman. This was a woman of action who gave. She just poured herself out for her family, for her friends, and for her community. And she loved taking care of people. She received deep satisfaction and meaning from watching after people, looking after them, taking care of them, and making sure that they were well and thriving. So we honor today a terrific woman. She would be delighted by all of your presence, and we give you thanks for taking the time and making the effort to be with us today. Immediately after the service, there will be a reception, a luncheon reception at the West Shore Country Club, and you are all invited. We'd be delighted to share lunch with you today. Now, what we'd like to do is we'd like to begin with a hymn. A hymn, a great American hymn. We'd like you to stand and sing out. God of grace, God of glory. Side, and she would always sit leaning in, listening intently. Her faith was personal, and so we celebrate that. Let's join together in a word of prayer. Almighty God, from whom we come and unto whom our spirits return, you have been our rock and refuge in times of sorrow, a very present help in grief. Share with us your presence in this hour, and help us to put our trust in you, that our hearts may be comforted. Lift our eyes beyond the shadows of this life, and help us to see the light of eternity. In you may we find grace and strength for this hour and every time of need, through Jesus Christ, who taught us to pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
A reading from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 through 12. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. What gain has the worker from his toil? I have seen the business that God has given to the children of man to be busy with. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that he cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. I perceived that there is nothing better for them than to be joyful and to do good as long as they live. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
A reading from Psalm 121, a song of ascents. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in, from this time forth and forevermore. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised imperishable, and we shall be changed. For this perishable body must put on the imperishable, and this mortal body must put on immortality. When the perishable puts on the imperishable, and the mortal puts on immortality, then shall come to pass the saying that is written, Death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is your victory? O death, where is your sting? The sting of death is sin, and the power of sin is the law. But thanks be to God, who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
A reading from the book of Revelations. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the dwelling place of God is with men. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people, and God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away. And he who was seated on the throne said, Behold, I am making all things new. Also he said, Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. And he said to me, It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give from the spring of the water of life without payment. The one who conquers will have this heritage, and I will be his God, and he will be my son. This is the word of the Lord.
Thank you, God.
To the younger generation, we are so proud of you. And your grandmother would brag about you a lot. And she had every right and reason to. God bless you. We're proud of you. Let's stand and sing together. Joyful, joyful, we adore thee.
And sung the songs, promising I do, I will, repeating the amens to the strains of lullabies, O promise me, and the Rock of Ages. Passing decades slipped by like a videotape, along roads well paved with custom. No trespassing signs came down. New generations explored unfamiliar fields and woods while you stayed and called to those beyond your sight. You remember And see, it's all been like a play, where only faces and settings change. The plots and melodies, with birth and death, joy, grief, and laughter, are about love, just as families are. And that is why we are here today, to bring you love and love and love again.
And I remember my mom had done something fierce. I don't remember what, probably yell at Anne. And I, like a good younger sister, was going to defend her with every ounce of passion I could muster. And I told my mother, in the spirit of complete defiance, "You are mean." And my mother looked at me and said, "Yes, I am." And sat down with her cigarette. And in that moment, I learned the power of truth. I wrote this song for a character named Aunt Polly, who mothered Tom Sawyer. And as I was writing the song for that play, I know my mother had inspired the song. So I adapted it for this particular occasion, for the woman who inspired it. Go live your lives, girls. Go live your lives, girls. I was there when you lay in my arms, when you cried in your crib, when you crawled in the yard, when you spoke your first words, tried to fly like a bird, jumped in the pool, went off to school. Go live your lives, girls. Go live your lives, girls. I picked you up when you fell down, taught you to swim so that you'd never drown. I read you the stories, now you read to me. Stories your children write, learn what they see. Go live your lives, girls. Go live your lives, girls. Watch while they grow, teach them to pray. Hope they are curious and hear what they say. Go live your lives, girls. Go live your lives, girls. Love their true selves, the parts that aren't pretty. Let go of their hands when they head for the city. Know you are loved. I know it's not easy. You don't have to worry. You don't have to please me. Go live your lives, girls. Go live your lives, girls.
Mom gets up, gets dressed for work at Family and Children's Service, Children and Youth. Then she wakes up, no less than 4 elementary school girls, gets them dressed, fed, and off to school. Then she goes to work. At noon, she comes home to feed 4 hungry daughters who have walked a half a mile from school only to return to school after a Lebanon bologna sandwich or a PB&J. She then drives back to work. And for 3 months every year, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, the trip home for lunch from downtown would now include a drive to the Harrisburg Country Club for swim team practice, endless hours of tennis, and that stupid card game called Knuckles. Her lunch hour was now a full hour spent in the car getting us fed and delivered us to an afternoon of absolutely no sunscreen. So after 5 o'clock, she returns home, and somewhere in the next window of time is a serious Manhattan and a 30-minute power nap. We could never wake her up. Unless we were bleeding, needed stitches, or required a cast. Refreshed from the nap, she cooks dinner for no less than 6 people. I can't even do 3, I just have to tell you. And actually, Lissa remembers that she did not ruin 1 meal. After dinner, we all cleared the dishes, washed the dishes, a little homework, TV, baths, some reading, and off to bed for 4 little girls. At some point in the evening, there was violin practicing, volunteer calls to make, sewing projects to work on, parties to plan, and on Wednesday nights in the season, mixed doubles tennis at the country club. After this crazy day, Mom and Dad would then go off to bed. And she would wake up the very next day and do it all over again. I personally was exhausted just reading that, especially knowing there were hundreds of days just like that one. Someone said once that nothing raises your mother to sainthood faster than having your own kids. And that was true for all of us. Mom was mostly work and very little play. She was an incredible role model for her daughters. But she was also really good at non-mothering activities. The violin. Mom started playing the violin when she was 8 years old and didn't put that down until a month before she passed away.
Right.
Who does that? Who does that? 82 years of violin. And she was good enough to play in the Harrisburg Symphony and a number of other area symphonies for years, all while raising a family. Tennis. She played a mean game of tennis. I am 30 years younger than she is. I always have been. And I never won a set from her. Sally? Probably not. Okay. Talk about humbling, okay? She played tennis the way she lived. Focused, patient, fair, and she never gave up. Just ask Mrs. Daly. She sewed clothes for us, our Ginny dolls. She would also reconstruct size 18 outfits on sale. So she would get them down to her little size 10 body just to save a few dollars. She was so resourceful. She also sewed all of Anne's and Liz's bridesmaids' dresses. Amazing. And that needlepoint, oh my goodness. Pillows, pillows, more pillows, everywhere, reproducing like rabbits. Her work. She was involved in social work her entire life. She went back to school when she was 40 to get her master's in social work. And she interacted across all age groups throughout her career. So children and youth, and I was with her on occasions when she would drive kids to camp who otherwise would not be able to go, up to helping transition underserved seniors at Presbyterian apartments. One of her great skill sets was serving others. One memory that epitomized Mom for all of us was her quote-unquote annual vacation. She got to take every August. Now, when the Greens went on vacation, they went to some really cool spots.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Portugal, Switzerland, skiing, oh my goodness. We actually wanted to go with them. And actually, Dad wanted to go with them too. But Mom's version of vacation was one full week of Cinderella-esque duties. That included cleaning those damn Venetian blinds, taking all the screens out of the window, downstairs, washing and sudsing those up, rinsing them off, drying them in the sun. Also, we did clean the dusting, the vacuuming, the bathrooms, the works, weeding. Oh my goodness, did she like her yard? And filling those goofy S&H Green Stamps books. How many people remember those damn books, right? Was it not a rodeo day when they went from 50 stamps a page to 5 and, just 10 across? I mean, that was great, wasn't it? So much less water in those stupid sponges. Anyway, that was her idea of vacation. It was the week we all dreaded the most. But shockingly, it came around year after year. The bottom line is, she taught us how to work. And I can't let the day go by without mentioning her fashion sense. Yeah, okay, so how many 60-year-old grown women, and this would include, I'm talking about the 4 of us, well, you're really 59, right? I don't want to rush you, okay. How many 60-year-old grown women are negotiating over their 90-year-old mother's wardrobe? So clothes were her weakness, and she had a lot of them. And when I say them, I mean clothes and not weaknesses. We literally, a few weeks ago, had a fashion show in her closet, trying to decide whose color chart that sweater or jacket was best on, and if possible, divide up her clothes evenly. Now, I don't remember who got those styling fry boots with that awesome fringe, but they were pretty great. Not for everyone's taste, but Mom pulled it off. We would say, I think growing up, there were not, and Wynn mentioned this, there were not endless hugs and I love yous. Her family and work obligations were all-consuming, and she had many spinning plates in the air. I sort of like to say, when you're describing someone like running on roller skates, it felt like she was running on roller skates. But we each knew that her commitment to us and her extended family was infinite. She set an example of how to focus on the important things in life. She was a serious person because she realized there was much to do. What was great for us to watch, though, was how she came out of her shell in her later years. You mentioned this too? Did you read this? No. We had many, many great conversations and laughs with her. We think she finally gave herself permission to enjoy all that life had to offer. And after Dad died, she tried new things, and she explored new relationships, which included 2 more husbands, Jack Holbaugh and George Fox, which was a total win-win. We so enjoyed both of those, our special new dads. Mom was a devoted daughter, sister, wife, mother, social worker, musician, tennis player, bridge player, friend, needle pointer, reader, voter. We're not even going to go there, okay? I think we all know where that's not going to take us to a good place. So I think we'll just say voter and leave it there. Okay. Who worked hard her entire life to improve the life of others. She was a dedicated worker and an amazing role model for us. And we will miss her terribly. So I want to thank you all for coming today to help us celebrate Mom's very full life. She will be joining us in spirit for lunch, as there are chocolate sundaes for dessert. And she never missed out on a chocolate sundae.
Is a poem by George Fox, a husband to Mom, a talented poet, and a dear, sweet friend to all of us. I'm ready, Lord, if you are. I've seen the red sunrise. I've seen sunsets, and I can visualize some of them yet. But better still, I've seen your love-filled eyes, and they do come between me and the sky. I've listened to the waves upon the shore, and they can misbehave, they have before. And I can hear you say, I need you so. I throw restraint away, to you I go. Well, I'm ready, Lord, if you are. You've let me live so much. Don't really want to cross the bar, but if I'm in a clutch, well, I'm ready, Lord, if you are. Could you leave the gates ajar? You've let me live so much. I've watched a child enthralled as she sang and wheeled a much-used, cherished doll she knew was real. And better still, I've heard you sing in deep and soft and loving words our child to sleep. I've dreamed some pretty tunes, had mighty thoughts, on rainy afternoons, made clever plots. But I am forever blessed by what you see. I never would have guessed how we'd agree. Well, I'm ready, Lord, if you are. You've let me live so much. Don't really want to leave the shore, but if I'm in a clutch, well, I'm ready, Lord, if you are. But I'd gladly take 40 more. But you let me live so much.
A final word to the younger generation among us. Take this lesson from a truly fine woman, that love, at its best, is more than a feeling. It is an action. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you and to be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. God bless you all. We're so glad you came. Join us for lunch.